Hey, uh, so this is a very different video, different from anything I've ever done. Um, so I'm recording this on August 21st. So it's been 1 week since The Walking Dead dropped the first episode um, of the final season, and not until just like a couple days ago, I was like, I really want to talk about this episode. That's all that's been on my mind for the past week. As soon as as soon as I finished the episode, it was like 3 a.m. I had to go to bed, but I couldn't wrap my brain around like what was going on. Um, it was wild. It was a wild episode. And I don't know. I just a couple of days ago, I've wanted to just talk about it. I want to like get my thoughts about it out there. And this is mostly just a video for me. I'm making this for myself. But hopefully, if anybody else decides to watch it, they'll enjoy it too. Because I know I keep saying I'm already sounding like a broken record, but I just want to get my thoughts out there. And just talk about it with somebody. Obviously not face to face, since this is clearly a video and like not like a Skype call or Twitch live stream or whatever. So I want to just like keep this super casual, just little to no editing at all. I'm gonna have to, make some cuts because after a certain amount of time the camera just decides to stop recording. I'm not really sure why that's a thing, but it is. So this is pretty much just like a podcast sort of thing, but not exactly a podcast. I don't know. I'm not really even sure what to call this. I don't know. I'll figure it out eventually. And I'd like to do more stuff like this, just talking about particularly with Walking Dead, but it kind of sucks because I've got school coming up in 1 week and it's my senior year of high school, and it's going to be quite busy. So when the next episodes drop, I probably won't be able to do something like this. But it's good that the last episode drops in December because it was I don't even remember what day it was. December 7th, which is the same day Smash comes out. Like that's gonna be a crazy day. Yeah, so it'll drop like right around like my Christmas break. So maybe if I just like want to make one big video about the whole season, I might do that. But in a perfect world, I'd be able to talk about each and every episode individually. But just, probably due to timing and how busy I'm probably going to be, I don't think it'll happen. But it's okay. So, yeah, I want to talk about this first episode. So, like, as soon as it opened up with that, like, sucker punch looking cutscene, like, you guys, if you haven't seen me play Infamous, you'll see very similar looking cutscenes in that playthrough. I don't know. That's always been a very appealing art style to me. Just like that comic book style. I don't even know what you'd call it. I guess this is kind of a cutscene. Just recapping everything. Yeah, I mean, I never played like Sly Cooper when I was little, but Parker did a lot. And I don't know, just when this came up, I was like, oh my gosh, it's just like what I grew up with, like, playing Infamous all the time. So yeah, I don't know, I thought that was pretty cool. And making us relive everything, whole Lee situation, every season, every group that we've met up with. And then it just was Alvin and Clementine, and I've got my video just pulled up on one monitor here, so I can like try and remember what everything was in like how everything happened in order. So once that cutscene wrapped up, we got that initial shot of Clementine driving. I was like, oh my gosh, this is this is nuts. It's been 10 years since the apocalypse started. She's driving now. She looks grown, mature. I don't know. It's really cool just to see her grow up. But this is when the weird stuff starts to come in. I've been on Instagram a lot, seeing like promotional, like sponsored posts from Telltale, and there was one that I saw. It was of Clementine. She was driving. It was that opening scene, and so, there's some really messed up people out there. I'm sure you know where I'm going with this. I won't go into too much detail, but you know, people are saying she's of age now. You know what that means. She's she's being used as a sex icon, apparently, for people, which is really disgusting to me. We've watched her grow up since season 1. You knew her when she was 8. 8. This is like watching your daughter grow up and saying she's sexy and you want to be with her. And coupled with the fact that she's an animated character makes it even weirder. But I guess that's what, like, you know, Rule 34 is for. Anyway. Yeah, so there are some pretty gross people out there. Yeah, it's really cool that she's, like, driving now. Part of that is from Kenny, from my storyline. But then anything else outside of, you know, leaving Wellington with Kenny, it's like she taught herself how to drive. That's impressive. Yeah, just that opening shot, the animation looks so good now. Oh my gosh, it's awesome. Like, I don't know if they've got a new engine or whatever, but like the art style has matured a lot. Like everything just looks so much better, and you know, even from the title of my playthrough, it's clean. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just so clean. And I think they did a really good job, like, designing Clementine and her look. I don't know, she just looks like really broken, I think. Like, you just look at her. Her eyes look all sunken. She's lost so much, and it's like it's just her now and this boy. Okay, yeah. So then, and Alvin's in the back. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Alvin's in the back, going like this. He's going like this. I'm pretending we have bullets. Psycho. This isn't a real gun, by the way. It looks pretty real though. I think it's awesome. I think it's a Colt Python revolver. Yeah, I don't know. It's not real. I'll just set it down here. Yeah, so he's flipping that thing. He's thinking he's all grown up now. He doesn't like goofball anymore, apparently. But I'm getting the sense that he's saying, you know, I'm too old for goofball now. I don't want you to call me that anymore. But if this is, in fact, the death season of Clementine's death is going to come up, and he's going to be, like, hovering over her, and he's going to be like, I'll always be your little goofball. I love you, Mom. I swear, dude, if he says that, if he calls her Mom, there's a closet over there. I'm going to go in there and cry. I'm going to get up, just drop the controller, and leave. I'm not going to be able to handle this. Oh, man. What are they going to do with this season? There is so much that's going on. Yeah, what else we got here? They go to that train station. I was really surprised by the end of it, when everybody decided to spare the two zombies that were in the chair. I know it's still in the minority, but I don't know. I'm still kind of surprised that many people chose to I don't know, give them their wish, grant them that little desire that they had of, this is what we wanted. Excuse me. And just leave us be. But like I think I mentioned this in my video, where there I'm guessing it's not really going to have that much of an impact, but initially I was like, what if killing them is going to result in some sort of like disturbance in life and in nature? Because I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Until Dawn, but it's very similar to what Telltale does, except to a much more extreme measure or extreme length. It's story driven, it's choice driven, and there's one choice. It's I'm trying to remember what it was. There's a character named Chris and there's a character named Sam, and Chris, I think, is showing Sam like, I'm really good with a gun, or like with a rifle or whatever he had, and he was shooting like these, I don't know if they were bottles. I don't remember what they were exactly. I haven't watched or seen much of Until Dawn in quite a while, but I think then at some point Sam gets the choice of like doing target practice or whatever, and you have an option to... Oh, no, Chris, you get to play as Chris here. So Chris is the one who has the gun still, and you have the choice of either shooting a bag or shooting like a squirrel or a rabbit or something. And if you decide to shoot the animal, a bird ends up coming down, attacking Sam's head, and she's got like this scar like above her eyebrow. And then eventually she's got to like run away from a killer inside a cabin. And there's one point in the game where she's got to bust a door down and she'll fall. And if that bird attacked her head, she's going to get caught by the killer and kidnapped. But if she doesn't get attacked, then she gets to keep running and stay away from the killer. So it's like some hardcore butterfly effect, whatever, could play into Walking Dead too. Yeah, so what else was there? Yeah, killing those zombies, finding all that food. And it's actually kind of sad. Like before you went in, there was a thing with the tire swing, and AJ didn't know what it was. He thought it was a zombie trap. And it's sad that he hasn't known a life without worrying about dealing with a zombie at night, or just all that stuff. So what people used to have fun on, the tire swing, he thinks is some sort of elaborate trap used to like snare walkers in or something. And that opening action scene after the grenade exploded where all the food was, I was under a lot of pressure. I was actually kind of nervous about that, even though I knew if I died it'd just be a game over. But still, I don't know, it just felt so different from all the other games. Trying to run away from the zombies, get the car started and everything. There was a lot going on there. It was really smooth. It was, I don't know if you call that choreography. I don't know if that applies to animated games too. I'm sure it does. But yeah, it was all really smooth, and then we crashed the car. And then I don't know if it was Marlon who took AJ or if it was just somebody else from the school. And I for a while I honestly forgot that the school was a thing. I hadn't really paid much attention to the trailers. I didn't even know like who Marlon was or anything. I think I said I thought it was a prison or something. But yeah, we got taken, and so yeah, that was that opening scene, and oh my gosh, I just remembered. When it gets to the intro sequence, where everything's like all red and like it's the opening credits, showing the executives and all that stuff. I think there's a lot more going on with that than most people think. I need to look up the song lyrics, because there was one verse in here that really got me thinking that this song was strategically picked out. Like, it's not a coincidence that they picked this song out, and these events just happened in the episode. There's one line. It says, she told him to take care of me. She headed down to Tennessee. That has nothing to do with it. But, one of the characters is named Tennessee. There's got to be something going on there. So there's this one verse. I've pieced it together. Let me know if you know where I'm going with this. So let me just read it off. A friend said he knew where some easy money was. We robbed a man, and brother did we fly. The posse caught up with me, drugged me back to Muskogee. It's 2 long years just waiting around to die. Okay, so let me break this down. Oh, I dropped something. Yeah, so let me go through this. I guess I can get to it later if I need to, because what I think this symbolizes is what happens kind of near the end. Yeah, I'll actually go ahead and do that when the time comes. And something else with that intro. Everything was red. The characters were all white. Okay, it kind of gives this sense of like, I don't know, it's the end. I don't know, that's like the only color that's there. It's just red and it's white and black, nothing else. But then as they're walking up to the school, Clem and AJ, and the title comes up, Walking Dead, the final season, there's one flower that's just standing out. It's yellow. This yellow flower happens to be a lily. Lily. If that does not... if that doesn't give it away that Lily is going to have something to do with this season, that's a wasted opportunity, in my opinion. Because that was really clever. I didn't even notice it when I first played, but after watching it back, I was like, why is everything else red? And then there's just this one flower that's standing out. And I'm like, you don't think that's a lily? I looked up a lily, and sure enough, that flower was in fact a lily. Oh my gosh. Lily is going to be in this season. If she's not, I don't know. Man, she's in the season. She's in this season. I don't care what anybody else says until I'm proven wrong. She is in this season. Yeah, so the intro finishes. Clem wakes up in the school. I was really suspicious when I first left because I'm like, why am I tied up? Why would they use duct tape instead of, like, I don't know, a handcuff or something? Yeah, I don't know. it was a little bit not really bothersome, but it kind of worried me. I wasn't sure if I could trust the group. But I think overall the group can be trusted. Yeah, so I left the room, and I could have sworn at first Tennessee was AJ. Like, that looked just like him. And then Marlon shows up. He's got his arrow. He's ready to blast. And I think I said this in the Let's Play too, where I did not trust him at first. I don't know. I just had a weird vibe about him, but I think that was mostly because it was a new person. I didn't know who he was. But then he was acting very nice, and I'm like, I think Telltale kind of surprised me here, that I thought this guy was going to be a complete jerk, and he ends up being a good guy. And he was for a little while, but, then we all know what happened. And he takes us outside. We meet all these people. I feel bad that I said, Willie? Yeah, Willie. I think I said something about how he might have a mental disorder. I'm not sure if he does. I don't know. It just looked like his eyes were kind of like, he looked kind of crazy, but I don't know. Maybe he doesn't. But I felt kind of bad after saying that. Yeah, and then we go inside that school, and we met Lewis. First we met the Ruby girl. Kind of rubbed off on us the wrong way at first. But yeah, after that whole thing, we meet Lewis, which at first I could not trust Lewis at first. He just seemed, there was something off about him, because I was saying something about he seems so nice, he could just turn out to be a backstabber. But I do think he's genuinely good. I think he's a good guy. Although I think he's trying really hard. He's trying way too hard to be Clementine's boyfriend. Trying really hard to impress her. It was kind of a giveaway when he started playing the "Oh My Darling" thing. I'm like, he wants it. He wants it so badly. Yeah, and after, like I was saying, at first I didn't trust him at first, but after rewatching it, I think I do like him. I don't know if I'd want him to be a boyfriend. I don't want him to be like necessarily boyfriend material yet. Just because he comes off as a tryhard. That's all it is. That's my biggest issue with him, is that he's trying so hard to seem cool, I guess. And keep in mind, I've played this multiple times, and I've gotten like multiple angles of, Lewis and all these other people. Yeah, so after we got to know Lewis, then we had to go out and kill a bunch of zombies. That's when he was really trying hard. When he had jokes, and he was like, he got the chair leg, and he was like, call it Cheryl's. Like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? He's so weird with it, but oh man, I keep dropping things. Anyway, you guys don't care if I'm dropping things or whatever. Yeah, I think that whole walker trap thing, I think that's really cool. It's a nice little setup. They had like the boulder drop, and then the huge log just swing by and like knock some zombies into a tree. Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was actually pretty cool. Yeah, so what else do we have then? Yeah, Lewis was trying to show off that, hey, Clem, watch this. Yeah! And, he's like, chicks dig it. And then afterwards, after everything was cleared out, who was it? Asim. I couldn't remember his name for a second. there was, I don't even remember what was happening, but Marlon was saying something about like, no, we need to talk about this later, and he's like, no, we need to talk about it now. And he like ended up shoving a sim out of the way. I'm like, oh, maybe I was right about Marlon being kind of crazy. Seemed like he kind of had a temper, which makes sense. It's a school for troubled youth, so I think everybody's probably got some problems. What they are, I don't know, but I guess that makes sense too, because they were saying, or Marlon himself was saying that they hadn't seen anybody like Clementine in like forever. So I'm guessing she's like the only mentally stable person there. And everybody just kind of thought that was cool. So AJ hits Marlon in the balls. So that was an issue. He didn't want to talk to him for a little while. And then he was like, I didn't know it was him. I didn't know it was Marvin. I'm like, wow, Marvin. That actually had me going crazy for a second. I was like, his name is Marlon, right? I'm not losing my mind or anything. But yeah, then she was like, no, it's not Marvin, it's Marlon. So I'm like, thank you for clearing that up. And then we went around making friends with everybody. That was really kind of the point where I think I could kind of decide who I liked and who I didn't like. Well, I can't say I disliked anybody. For me, it's definitely Lewis and Violet are my two favorites out of everybody there. Between the two of them, which one I like more, I'm not really sure. I'd say more Violet. I'd lean more towards Violet. Especially after watching it multiple times and playing it multiple times. I do think that I like Violet just a little bit better than Lewis. Mostly because I think she's a much more relatable friend than Lewis would be. Not to say that Lewis isn't relatable, but just, Violet seems kind of like the loner type, and so is Clementine. They both have lost a bunch of people, and I think they have a lot that they can have in common. But then Lewis is like this really bright, spunky personality that might kind of rub off on people the wrong way, just because like, he's so happy in such a serious situation. So yeah, overall, I do think Violet is probably my favorite, and then Lewis, and then honestly, I'd even say Tennessee too. Like, they're my top three. And a lot of people are thinking that there is going to be a not necessarily a love triangle, but a little something with Clem and Lewis, or even Clem and Violet. So I'm thinking at some point there is going to be a choice. I was looking at a trophy guide the other day. And there was one that was, I don't even remember what it was called. I think it was like in episode 3 or something. Oh no, it's episode 2. So this next episode, something's probably going to go down. So this one is called Moving Fast, and the subtext is teenage romance. And the picture is a pair of lips. So, that could mean either a relationship with Lewis or a relationship with Violet. And you have to choose who you want to be with. Maybe there's even a single option, and you don't even get the trophy. But I don't know, there's no information about it. Other than just what it's called and then its subtext. Teenage romance, obviously that's going to have something to do with Clementine. She's either going to have a boyfriend or she's going to have a girlfriend. I don't know. you'll probably get to choose, but we'll just have to see. Anyway, where were we? We all eat dinner. We start burping like crazy. My whole thing was like, if you can't beat them, join them. Come on. We're in the middle of the apocalypse. Who cares if we start burping? I mean, obviously there's a time and place for manners, but, you know, was it Lewis? I think Lewis burped first, and then AJ burped, and I was like, and then, you know, even Marlon started playing along. Like, he faked us out there for a second, but then he was like, hey, stop it. I'm like, there you go. And then we all started playing cards. That was when things kind of got very serious for no reason. So they were like, we're going to play war. Whoever wins gets to ask Clementine a question. I'm like, okay, I can do that. And then, first things first, Violet's like, what happened to his parents? Are they gone? They dead? Like, what? I guess that really wasn't even the most serious of all the questions, but, yeah, it was like, gosh, it started off so heavy. So, you know, I figured if we're going to be here with these people, might as well just tell them how it is. Yeah, his parents died, and then Clementine ended up winning, and this is kind of the part that I was regretting, and I wanted to play back, even though it really doesn't have any significance. I just like kind of wanted to be able to say something about Javier, because with all the choices you have, what was it, Marlon's haircut, then meet anybody famous, and it didn't even cross my mind that Javi used to play baseball. He was booted from the league, but he used to play. I'm like, oh man, I didn't even think about that. I could have said something about him. So I felt kind of bad after that. But again, it's not like, you know, if you don't choose this option, you're gonna die. Yeah, so I wish I had done that initially, but then, you know, after some playthroughs, that's the one that I choose as well. And then we had the worst injury. I didn't even think at first that she was gonna mention Carver and Kenny. I was like, oh, nice. And then, like, after they all started talking about, like, what did Violet say? Like, oh, zombie got hit so hard, like, his eyes popped out, and then Lewis saw, like, a bunch of intestines getting pulled out from somebody. I'm like, oh, we saw a man's face get smashed in, and sure enough, she said that. And then what else was there? Oh, yeah, grossest thing you've ever eaten. After I'd watched that, I was like, that was the thing with the dairy, or the ranch. It was a dairy, with Mark and his legs. That would have been kind of weird to explain. She would have been like, I ate a guy's legs once, or almost ate a guy's leg. I haven't seen really anybody pick that, though. It's either, it's pretty much what I chose when I played. It was, I see a lot of people choosing worst injury and then Marlon's haircut. Yeah, so those two I think are like the most common. And then Lewis, you ever have a boyfriend? Chill out, gosh. Like, if it was not a dare I say telltale sign that he's looking for some love, I don't know what is. It's like he wants to be with Clementine for the rest of his life. Yeah, so what were the options there? It was like, no way, I don't love anybody, or like love's for suckers. But I wanted to mention something about Gabe. I don't know, just like whenever I get the chance to mention a previous season, I want to try and do that. Hence the reason I always choose the option with Lee. So yeah, it was like, oh yeah, there was a boy once. And they're like, oh, did you really love him? I'm like, let's make this awkward. And then who else was there? Marlon asked, he's like, who used to take care of you? Was it your parents? Was it somebody else? I'm like, nope, my parents are dead. It was Lee, and they all died at the end. Yeah, it's like I'm over here asking like, oh, Marlon, what's going on with your haircut? It looks kind of funny, and then they're like asking the most serious questions in the world, aside from Lewis, but he asks the kicker in the end. Yeah. So as soon as Marlon asked that question, I'm like, respectfully, push that button. Let's do it. Come on. I don't know why anybody else wouldn't choose that. It seems like the optimal choice there. Yeah, choosing to say something about Lee. And then the thing that kind of worries me about choosing that one, he says, what's the most important thing he taught you? And I said, how to let go. All signs are pointing towards her death. Excuse me. Excuse me again. It's just like, gosh. How to say goodbye, she said. She's going to remember that when she's on her deathbed, talking to AJ, and she's going to give the most heartfelt goodbye in probably video game history. That might be a stretch, but I don't know. We'll see. It'd just be even better if she survived. But again, I think I did mention this too. It seemed very anticlimactic if she did survive, but it's going to be downright heartbreaking if she dies. Like, oh gosh, I'm not ready for it. I don't think anybody really is. I think people think they're ready, but they're not. They're really not. And what else did we get? Violet got to ask, who do you think is going to die first out of all of us? Obviously, the comedic answer is going to be Lewis, because he's the dork of the group. And then I thought that choice was going to have a lot more impact than it did. I'm like, if I choose to kill, if I say Lewis is going to die first, he will. That's how the story's going to play out. If I had actually chosen Marlon, I would have lost my mind. I was like, gosh, that's what I choose now that I know what happens at the end. And it makes a lot of sense though, because she does end up saying that people who try to keep a group together usually they don't make it. And I mean, it makes sense. You think about it. You go back to all these different seasons. Who we have? We had Lily trying to keep the motor in together. Well, it was Lee, Kenny, and Lily all kind of like co-running it, but we left Lily behind. So she's out of the picture. Then kind of Lee took over at that point as the leader, and then he ends up dying. You'd think that Kenny would take over, but no, he got lost to a herd. So everybody's gone. Then it's not really a group with Clementine and Krista, but Krista ends up vanishing, which I think she's going to show up too. I think she will be part of this big bad group that shows up later. And what else? There are the cabin people. I don't think there was necessarily a leader there. I don't know. I don't know who would be the leader out of all those people. I wouldn't say Pete. Well, maybe. I don't know. It didn't really seem like there was a leader at all. It just seemed like everybody was kind of, everybody was kind of in charge. It was more of like a democratic sort of thing. But I guess we did have House, the Carver's place. He ends up dying. Then we get the New Frontier. Who we had? We had Joan. We had Clint. David. Was Dr. Lingard, was he? I don't remember if he was one of the leaders. I think he was, actually. but obviously one of them is gonna die. And at the most 3 of them. One of them makes it, depending on your choices. For me, Clint, I believe, died. But yeah, you had an option to shoot Joan. You can kill Lingard to find out where AJ is, and then there are like 2 different endings where David can die. It's pretty wild. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense. A lot of people who try to keep a group alive don't end up surviving, and that was the case with Marlon. he was no exception. And I'm guessing if Lily is going to be the leader of this group, she's not going to make it either. She will be dead by the end of the season. That is if she does show up, which again, I don't know why she wouldn't. It just makes too much sense. Okay, so that was Marlon's thing, and then it was Violet's question. And then Lewis, he goes, "You ever had to kill somebody you love?" Goodness, he was just looking for, I don't know, man. It was just kind of uncalled for, I suppose. But yeah, we got to mention Lee again, and then, Clementine gets depressed, and, Lewis is like, "Oh, what? You guys wanted me to ask?" Like, chill out, dude. But like Marlon was saying, he definitely didn't mean any harm with that. He's in love with Clementine. He doesn't want to hurt her or anything. I just said that so seriously. So yeah, then we got to stay the night, and then it was a brand new day. And then we got to mess with the dog to learn kind of how she works. What was her name? Rosie? Big freaking dog. Yeah, I'm glad that we got to learn how to give her commands and whatnot, because I think the only person who knows how to control her is Marlon, and now that Clementine knows how to do something, then Rosie will just kind of fall under her. So yeah, then we had to go either fishing or go hunting. And I think every time I've gone fishing, except for I'm trying to do like a 100% like trophy, not really guide, but because I'm not filming it, but I'm trying to get all the trophies on the PlayStation, and I had to go hunting twice because there's one choice where you either just mess around with Lewis and like hit on a walker with Cheryl's, or you actually take this seriously and go hunting for some rabbits with a sim. But I don't know if there's not necessarily a right or wrong choice here. I don't think choosing fishing or hunting, but every time I have gone fishing, and it was kind of an interesting little trip that we had there. We finally got to, have Violet and Brody sort of make amends. They're kind of on the same page now because of the whole situation with Tennessee's sisters. They got killed a year ago, and Violet's still not over the loss because she was Sophie and Minnie. She was Minnie's girlfriend, and she was. And since they're twins, she was obviously really close with Sophie too. So there was clearly there was a wedge between Brody and Violet's friendship, and we eventually sorted that out. And I couldn't believe in that shack when we found the heart and the V&M thing, V+M. There was a cat skull in there for the collectibles that you can get at the end. I didn't even notice it. I was saying this whole time, I got to look around for all these items. I want to see if I'm missing anything, and I missed 2 important items. So it kind of sucks that my Let's Play file is going to be kind of like my test file, and then I've got a main file where I'm going to try and do everything, make like my ideal choices. Because What I choose when I play this now is not going to be probably my final choice, because I'm probably going to regret a lot of what I choose. And I don't know, it felt really weird, especially at the end of the episode, because everybody seemed, all those things were so bad. It said like you left Lewis feeling lost, Tennessee was feeling bitter. It's like everything was so bad, and I'm like, I did something wrong. I feel bad about this. So I was trying to fix everything, and after playing it a bunch of times, it's like, okay, this is how it's going to be. This is how the relationships are going to start. I think they'll be able to get fixed later on. So we go fishing. We don't get a whole lot of food for the group, so we got to go back to some other place to find more food. And then there was that train station that we were at earlier, where there was all that food. There were those canned goods under that hatch, and so we're gonna go there and get all that food. So we get there, a bunch of zombies. Makes sense. There was an explosion. Clearly drew them all there. And I think this is really where Clementine really started to shine. Like, she's so awesome now. She's so cool. Like, she looked at the herd. She's like, all right, see that bell? I see that busted up train. Lewis, go up there, ring the bell, and get their attention. It's like she knows what to do now. She is surviving. On top of the fact that she's raising a child from birth to 6 years old. She's been raising a kid for 6 years, and she's a kid herself. I mean, not really anymore. She's 17. She's much more grown up now, but still, that's crazy. She taught him how to read. She taught him how to walk. She taught him how to talk, how to shoot a gun, how to kill a zombie. Everything AJ knows is because of Clementine by herself. If she's like not one of the coolest video game characters out there, fight me, seriously. It's really cool now. She's like a mom now. She's been a mom for like a long time, but she's got all those qualities. So then we get down to that shack, and we get all that food again, and then the man walks in. Our good friend Abel. So this is when the song lyrics come in from that beginning intro sequence. What I find really interesting about Abel is that one of the options is, who are you? Which I believe I asked, and he says, I'm Abel. But anything else you say, he doesn't say his name. But then at some point it says, Abel will remember this. Why would they show his name if he's not going to play some sort of big role later? So here's what the song lyrics are. So I know I already read it, but it said, a friend said he knew where some easy money was. So I'm thinking that a friend, this is Clementine, she said she knew where some easy money was. She knew where to get a whole lot of food. They're struggling to search for all this food. So she's like, hey, I was here before. Let's go here. Let's get this food, and let's just do our thing. It's going to be easy. There's all this stuff here. We'll be eating for weeks. We robbed a man, and brother, did we fly. This sentence is clearly Abel. We robbed Abel from the food. It wasn't really robbing, because it wasn't anybody's belongings, I guess. It wasn't anybody's at that point. It was everybody just trying to get what they could find. But I did push Abel into the pack of zombies to take the food. And now we're going to thrive because we have all that food to ourselves. Brother, did we fly. Here's the kicker, though. The posse caught up with me, drugged me back to Muskogee. He's not dead. I thought he was dead at first. I remember saying that he's dead. We pushed him into a bunch of zombies. He got bitten. He's gone. And maybe that's true. Maybe he is bitten and he's going to turn, but whatever group he's with, even though he said he's alone, he's with a group. He's with this Lily group. For now, we're going to call it Lily's group because that's who I'm assuming is going to be the leader here. They're going to find out he's dead. But I'm guessing it's going to make more sense if he's alive. So if you keep him alive, he's going to end up walking away, and he's going to report back to his group, and he's going to say, there was this little girl who was in there, and she was threatening me. She wanted to take all my food. So it says the posse caught up with me. Abel is going to come back, and not necessarily drug Clementine, but I think she's going to get kidnapped, and she is going to be held hostage at this group. And it says it's 2 long years just waiting around to die. I think she's going to potentially be tortured in this place. Possibly. I think Lily is going to end up realizing that, oh my gosh, it's Clementine. I know her. I don't think she has any bad blood with Clementine. There were no issues between them. It was all with Lee. Those were the main problems. But I feel like she's going to hold some grudges, and Clementine is going to be the one to take the fall for that. So it makes a lot of sense. They're going to find this. They find this food. Abel shows up. They take the food from him, and then he's going to end up coming back to bite us in the butt, and it's all going to get really hairy. And I posted on Twitter a couple days ago that I wanted to get some questions for this video, and Zach, thank you. Go ahead and subscribe to Zach space The Avenger. The Avenger is one word. You'll find him. And he's playing Walking Dead too. So if you want to see somebody else play that game, go ahead and check him out. We're making a lot of similar choices. So that's really cool. Or he's making a lot of the ideal choices that I would have wanted to make. And I think he's finding like all the items so far. So he's doing pretty good for himself. Anyway, he was asking why I decided to push Abel into the zombies instead of letting him go. So initially, I didn't think that he was going to get killed there. I thought that Abel was just going to get attacked, and we were going to disarm him. Then she ended up pushing him out of the window, and I was like, holy crap, that was, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting more of a fight. But the reason I pushed him out of the window is because, okay, he walked into the place. He had a gun. It was loaded. If he didn't want trouble, he wouldn't have walked in there with the gun out. He would have come in there peacefully. He would have said, or at least this is what I would have done if I wasn't looking for trouble. I just would have walked in there. I would have said, hey, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to take some food. I'm not here to hurt anybody. I'm going to scavenge some food for my people, and then I'll be on my way. I don't want any trouble. I'm not here to hurt anybody. I'm not here to kill anybody. I'm here I'm here to do what I got to do. And he did that, but he had a gun out. He clearly wanted trouble. Why else would he come out with the gun? And AJ comes up, points the gun at him. Okay, so now Abel is justified to pull out the gun. But if you didn't want trouble, don't come out in the open with a gun pointed at me and expect me to just say, oh, okay, here, take the food. No, you're going to get a fight. Come on. Yeah, and if you wait for that choice, like whether you want to attack him or have AJ shoot him or have AJ put down the gun, if you say AJ shoot, he'll shoot, which makes sense because he said, I'm faster than you. So if he knows you're going to shoot, he's going to shoot. If you don't do anything at all, if you just stay quiet, boom, boom, shoots both Clementine and AJ. He was going to kill us. That's why I attacked him. Is because I keep saying it. He walked in with a gun. He clearly wanted trouble. I guess I wouldn't say he wanted trouble, but he wanted to be selfish. He wanted to take that food, and he was ready to kill us for it. So kill him first. That's it. So thank you, Zach, for that question. I'm glad you asked it because it gives me something to talk about. Yeah, it's just like, why would you do that? Why would you walk in with the gun? It doesn't make sense. So yeah, we pushed him out and we take all this food and then bring it back. And clearly this school has a history with this guy. He's a familiar face. Because Brody was saying, like, we got history with him. Did he follow you back? And I said, no, we pushed him out and he was lost to the herd. And now she's all upset because this group is going to come back and attack them, which I didn't know at first. I'm like, okay, chill out. He's dead. It's fine. He's probably not dead. He's probably not. He's going to come back with this group and he's going to attack all of us. And I guess Brody was justified in being angry, but you know, he did have the gun on us. That was my reasoning. It was like, if it like Clementine was saying, if she hadn't done what she did, Abel would have killed us. And like I said, if you stay quiet, he shoots. So if that doesn't give it away that he wanted to rob us of what we had, then I don't know what does. Wow, I've been talking for almost an hour. This is how much I love this episode. Yeah, so Brody's upset. And then we're all eating dinner again, and everybody leaves. Cause I thought they were all leaving because they were upset with me for what I did. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. But they were all upset just because of the whole thing with Tennessee's sisters. Because it's apparently been 1 year on that day since they died. And I don't know, I guess it's just not sitting well with them. And it's kind of creepy that Ten's not really affected by it. He's like, death isn't scary. They just go to a happier place. This is what really creeped me out. He's like, hey, Clem, you want to be there too? I said this earlier. I'm going to say it again. All signs are pointing towards Clementine's death. No matter how you look at it, everything is all coming together. She is going to die. I'm like 99% sure that she's going to die. That 1% is just hope. Hope that she'll make it. But yeah, and I said, yeah, go ahead and draw me in. Because it'll make sense in the last episode when she's dying. It's going to be like, this is where I'm going to go now, AJ. I'm going to go to this happy place. And yeah. So finally go to bed. And I guess that first night where we finally went to bed, trying to get, I'm backtracking here, with AJ sleeping under the bed or sleeping on the bed, I felt bad afterwards because I was realizing that I was in the minority with letting him sleep under the bed. Yeah, I was in the minority, and I don't know why I felt so awful about it, because I don't know. I wanted to let him be comfortable, but then everybody was like, I'm a good parent. I'm gonna get him to sleep on this bed. I'm gonna show him just how much he's gonna like it. It's gonna be so soft and so comfy. And now that's what I'm gonna choose every time I play the episode now, is get him to sleep on the bed. But honestly, I don't think it really matters either way. It doesn't really seem like it's that important of a choice. Just, if he's comfortable, let him sleep under the bed. But on top of the bed, I think it's way more comfortable. So, yeah, I do feel bad about choosing that one. Yeah, and then the next night, he gets on the bed all by himself. Good boy. He's all excited about the place. He's glad that they finally found a safe haven. And rightfully so. He's been on the road the whole time, aside from the ranch that he was at in season 3. Yeah, he's finally safe. There are a bunch of people around their age that they can talk to. It's not just a bunch of adults. He likes it here. But I still was not 100% on board with everything. Like, it is a good place, but she said it herself. Clementine said it. People can change. Places can change because of that. So you always got to be on guard. And sure enough, that was the case. So we wake up the next couple hours, and we hear Brody and Marlon kind of hashing stuff out. I was like, what is going on here? Go down to that cellar. We find out that Marlon is just letting new people in to trade off for protection. And that's what he did with 10 Sisters. I was like, crap. It wasn't even registering when I first played it. I was like, I was probably just sitting there, like, looking like that, with the bland expression on my face. It was 3 a.m. Give me a break. He said he gave them away to Abel's group, Lily's group. I'm going to sound so stupid if Lily's not even in charge. She's got military background. Like, it makes too much sense. Anyway, yeah, Marlon's given up people from his own group to give to this bad group in order to be protected. This sounds a lot like the Saviors, huh? And he was going to do the same thing with Clementine and AJ, and Brody exposed him right there. Too bad she had to get cut. Gosh, that was nuts. Marlon killed her with a flashlight. One hit. I have a fidget spinner here. One hit across the head, and she was dead. She went like this. She was like, what'd you say? What did you say? I was like, what? It was crazy. I was watching back on it. Like, her pupil was like dilating like crazy. Gosh, and yeah, she said. Marlon said he's gonna let this group take you guys whenever he gets the chance. Because really, you guys are worthless to him. He's just gonna pick everybody off in order to stay protected, but claim that they got lost to a walker herd or they went outside the safe zone and they died. They got shot or whatever. Then Brody ends up turning, and Marlon runs out of there like a coward and tries to pin her murder, or his murder, on Clementine. What a slime ball. So he had to put her down, and there was evidence everywhere that looked like Clementine killed her. She had to bash her brains in with the flashlight. So of course her blood is going to be all over her. And he's like, "Oh look, she's covered in Brody's blood. Murder!" Yeah, so he's pinning this whole thing on me. And everything just went haywire. I didn't do it. I don't know why there wasn't even an option to say that she turned and I had to put her down. Like, that would have been a great way to defend yourself. Oh, okay, and then there was the choice of either appealing to Lewis or Violet, and I did choose to appeal to Lewis in my Let's Play, but then after sitting on it for a little while, I was like, nah, this probably isn't the best choice, because, yeah, this is Marlon's best friend, but this is concerning more Violet's girlfriend. Like, Marlon took them and gave them away, so clearly this is probably going to have more of an effect on Violet than it does Lewis. So I think it makes more sense to say to Violet, hey, don't let him do this. He's going to give you up too eventually. So yeah, ultimately I do think that's the better choice. And I think that that choice is going to have a lot of significance later, because choosing to appeal to Violet, I think, because it said your relationship has changed, I think she's going to be kind of like uncomfortable around Clementine now. And then if you choose to appeal to Lewis, then Lewis is going to feel kind of uncomfortable, and then there's going to be like, another whole relationship issue, whatever. And I think this is where like the boyfriend-girlfriend thing comes in. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. And I don't know why I tried to. I chose the two worst options when he had me at gunpoint. I attacked him, and then I'm like, stay quiet. Because what I wanted to do was I wanted to wait to expose him. I wanted to, I wanted to put him in his place first. I wanted to attack him, get him down on the ground, and then explain to everybody what happened. But I couldn't do that. I had to say it right there. I don't know why I didn't even choose that first. It was the only thing that made sense. But yeah, then AJ shoots Marlon. Boom, right out the center of his eyes. My gosh, it's crazy. And he goes like, I aimed for the head. Oh man. And that wrapped up the first episode. So that was the point where I was like, I need to talk about this episode. I've got to let this out there. Somebody's got to hear me out. It was just so cool. I loved it. It was such a good episode. It was like, honestly, it was probably one of Telltale's greatest opening episodes ever. Even though I'm not really that exposed to Telltale, I haven't seen anything outside of Walking Dead. And I just watched, I rewatched Wolf Among Us the other day. And that one's pretty cool. I kind of want to play that one, but not for the channel, just because I already know everything that happens. Although I could. I know Wolf 2 is coming out eventually, at some point this year, maybe. I don't know. I think that would be pretty cool. So yeah, that wrapped up the first episode, and then at that point, I was like, when I was seeing all, like, the relationship status of everybody, this does not feel right. This is not sitting well with me. Everybody seems like they're upset with me. I don't know. Nothing just seemed good. But like I said earlier, I think we will be able to fix that. I think relationships will be mended. And that'll be good. That'll be really good. So, yeah, that wrapped up the first episode, and I want to go back to some of these trophies, because I think it gives away a lot. Like some of the titles. Let's see. It's mostly in episode 4. Oh, okay, so there's one in episode 3. Once you complete the third act, it's called Leader. I'm thinking Clementine is going to take over this group. She's going to be the new leader of this group. This one also worries me too. This one is called Tally, Count the Days, and it's a bunch of tally marks. So like I was saying earlier about Abel coming back to haunt us and kidnapping us and locking us up in the group, I think maybe that could be the thing. That Clementine is going to be their prisoner, and she's counting the days of when she's finally going to get out and reunite with AJ. And then episode 4 is heartbreaking, for sure. There's one called... okay, so let me go through all these trophies for episode 4. This one's called Red Water, complete Act 1. Red Water, blood. Final Lesson, complete Act 2. Savior, completed Act 3. Willie... Was it Willie? Yeah, Willie said, "You're our savior, Clem." I think she's going to end up being AJ's savior. She's going to protect AJ from a herd. She's going to die. And AJ's going to be like, "You're my savior, Clem. I'll never forget you." And final lesson, she's going to still be teaching him, like Lee was like, "Keep that hair short." Like, in the end, he's still teaching. Goodbye. Did all you could. The picture is of an arm, a completely black arm with what looks like blood splattered out. You and me came full circle. It's going to be the exact same situation as Lee. AJ is going to put Clementine down. Calling it right now. Promise. Say you'd never leave. There's one hand like this and another hand reaching down like this. 2 hands holding each other. Clementine and AJ. She's saying, "I'll never leave you. I'll always be right here with you, even when I'm gone." Lost and found. Found Clem's hat. I'm thinking we're going to be able to play as AJ now. In the last episode, we are going to get a little glimpse of AJ's story. Now, The Walking Dead is probably going to be done after this, because it's the final season, but they did say they are wrapping up Clementine's story. So we may get a spin-off series of AJ. But I don't know, though. Yeah, so that's... Oh, man. The last episode is called Take Us Back. That's the song title of the song that played after Lee got shot, or after you left Lee. Like I said, every little path from every direction is all going to come up right here in the middle. Right here is Clementine's death. And here is all the different signs that are pointing toward her and her demise. It makes too much sense. I don't know how else to prove it. I spent over an hour talking about this. She's dead. She's dead. She's freaking dead. Oh, man. And I was looking through the episodes on my PlayStation, and I was looking at they have like pictures of, like, I don't know if they're necessarily like stills from the episode. They're not really stills, but if you look at the first episode, it's got, like, you know, the train station. Clem and AJ are just kind of like standing outside of there, like ready to go in. The last episode looks dark. It looks sad. There's a bridge over a lake with some zombies walking across it, and Clementine's hat sitting on a rock. If you're not convinced yet, wisen up, man. So, yeah, those are pretty much all my predictions for the upcoming episodes. Lily will come back. I'm hoping Krista will come back, because her story was kind of left open-ended. And I think Telltale said that there are going to be no Garcias, but I think it would be kind of cool to go back to Richmond and see Javi again. Because I did make the choice of... like, once Clementine finds AJ, bring him back. So, like, she's like, "Hey, if I ever bring him back, will you teach him baseball?" And I'm like, "Yeah, for sure." So I think that'd be kind of cool. Or, heck, even if AJ dies, or not AJ, Clementine dies, AJ can go back to, like, somehow find his way to Richmond on his own and meet up with Javi or whatever. I don't know. There's a lot that could happen. But I guess we'll find out once we see it. So that's that. How long have I been talking here? An hour 15. Wow. I covered a lot today. And like I said at the beginning of this, I'd like to make more of these. I think this is really cool. It's pretty relaxing for me. Just talking about something that I really like, something that I love. And I don't know, just keeping it relaxed, keeping it as chill as possible. Yep. So that's those are my thoughts on episode 1 and my thoughts on the upcoming episodes. So thanks for watching. Wow. I feel like I have so much more to talk about, but there's nothing more to cover. I mean, that's the first episode. I can't imagine what it's going to be like with the coming episodes. Because I was saying before, I might just do one video covering the rest of the season, but with me talking about this for over an hour, just one episode, I'm not going to make a 3-hour video. No way. That's just too much. But yeah, it kind of sucks. I want to be able to keep doing these, but with the amount of work that I'm probably going to have to end up doing over the year, I'm thinking that's probably not going to be the case. That I'll be able to make more of these. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what my schedule is. So yeah. Anyway, for real. Thanks for watching. If you made it all the way through this, thank you so much. This is just something I think you could put on in the background and listen to. Give it a like if you enjoyed it. Comment down below what you thought of the first episode. Obviously, my opinions. Fire. Oh my gosh, it was so good. It was so good. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button right here. Here's a video YouTube thinks you'll enjoy. And here's a playlist of all my Walking Dead videos. Go ahead and watch those. And thanks. Bye.